Welcome to the Misophonia podcast. This is episode 227. My name is Adil Ahmad, and I have Misophonia. In this episode, I talk with Los Angeles actors and filmmakers Lorin and Eric Davis about Lorin's experience with Misophonia and how it shaped their new short film. Lorin shares how her sound triggers, especially crinkling bags, rummaging noises, and even typing, show up in her daily life and how she's learned to cope through different things like hot yoga, silence breaks, good sleep, masking sounds. The couple also discusses how clear communication and empathy in a relationship can keep misophonia from turning into resentment, even when everyday habits like snacking become unexpectedly stressful. And so their new project, Auditory Problems, is a comedy that lets the main actor act out the socially unacceptable impulses that we all have with regards to misophonia. And it blurs what's real and what's imagined for the viewer. So they're going into, actually, I think they just finished post-production and are submitting to festivals. I believe they've already gotten into some. And Lorin and Eric both hope that the film helps people feel seen and lets the community laugh with a little more relief. And you can go to their Instagram at Auditory Problems, or I will also have links in the show notes. After the show, let me know what you think. You can reach out by email at hello@misophoniapodcast.com. And if you want to be on the podcast, just go to misophoniapodcast.com and click the Be a Guest link on the top. And if you'd like to try the new podcast app or get a sneak preview, you can go to app.misophoniapodcast.com, and very soon it will be on iOS and Android as well. All right, now here's my conversation with Lorin and Eric. Lorin and Eric, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I usually like to start kind of hearing about kind of roughly where you're located, what you do.
Okay, well, I'm the misophone here, so I'll probably end up doing most of the talking.
As
But
long as you don't trigger it. No, just kidding.
I'm very conscious of that.
we're based in Los Angeles, and we're both actors. And over time, my path has evolved more into filmmaking and writing and directing. And yeah, that's what we do. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, that sums it up pretty well. I think.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I just published an episode of somebody in LA who's trying to do a Misophonia short film. There's been a few over the past few years. I had a casting director who's in LA come on, and other writers. So yeah, it's a nice little hotbed of interesting people over there.
Yes. Yeah.
You come across something like this, and it's obviously, at least is from my point of view, not a mainstream topic. So it's interesting to find that there are pockets of people sharing in these sorts of things, which you think is more obscure than it actually is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that the way we found each other is we were promoting a short film that we were preparing to shoot that I wrote. And it's
based on our experience.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that it just, it's something that just sort of spilled out of me one day in the past year, I think it was, that I wrote it. And then I continued to go back and, rework it and so on. But it was about my experiences. And it wasn't until then that I really became aware that there was a name for this.
Oh, really? So just in the past year?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I was, having my experiences and living with misophonia, but I did not know that that's what it was called, or, that there were so many people that had similar experiences.
So I'd love to hear about the project and then kind of how that led to you finding out what did have a name.
So Um, well, I can tell you that I have not always been, um, I have not always been saddled with misophonia. When I was a kid, I have no recollection of those sorts of experiences for myself at all. As a matter of fact, I have memories of an aunt that I was very close to. We were just a few years apart in age, so we were, more like buddies. And she could not stand the sound of anyone chewing. And I remember thinking, not having a judgment on it, just being aware of it and being aware that I didn't have the same response that she did.
Around what age was that?
That was probably, like I was a tween, I would say,
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, something like that. And I don't have any specific recollections of my own experiences until sometime in the last couple of decades, I would say, maybe the last 20 years. I'm 59.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure how it came to be. I can tell you that I have always been, from the day I was born, highly, highly sensitive
Mhm.
and empathic. And um and I also have, I've heard some of your other guests talk about hypervigilance, which I
Mhm.
also experience, but I don't have any trauma to speak of. And the only way that I've really been able to explain it is that because I am have been so empathic, um this is almost embarrassing to say. I've said it out loud to people before, but it's like I experienced the trauma of others by witnessing it.
Mhm.
And so I think that that's how that came about. And I don't know if the anxiety that comes from that has um made way for misophonia in my life. I'm not really sure. But I have I have come to accept it and make friends with it and learn how to um make it more tolerable for myself. And so um actually, maybe I should let you speak to this after I talk about um my husband is very good at um also finding a way as my partner to deal with my reactions to things. I mean, he'll come sit next to me with some food and he's like, "Do you want to turn the TV on?" Because he knows I'm going to get irritated. And he's not upset about it, and he's not, he's just understanding. He's understanding, and I he doesn't experience misophonia, but he doesn't get upset with me, that he has to make adjustments to make my life a little more pleasant. And um so anyway, as I said earlier, this film idea just spilled out of me, and I said, we need to make this film. And it's a comedy. It's a comedy about misophonia. Um and what happens in the course of the film is this lead actress who is inspired, her character is inspired by my experiences. She gets to act out on all of the impulses she has as a result of the sounds that
Yeah.
are driving her crazy. And so it's very personal, but it's also meant to be funny and fun, because there are just things obviously that we can't, that are not socially acceptable, even though, my response to the few sounds that are the most challenging for me is anger.
Mhm.
And so some of those things get to play out in our short film, and for me it's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to see this very talented actress playing this part, um you know say things that are and do things that are socially unacceptable, that we only maybe fantasize about and just, get it out of your system.
She does it in real life, or is it kind of like a
Well,
imagined and
so the way I originally wrote it was that we would see her in each situation go bananas, and then
Mhm.
it would fast rewind, and then we would see her do it as she real like that was just her
Yeah.
fantasy, and we just see her. But the way that I've ended up editing the film is it's what is real and what is an imagined response is left up to the viewer's discretion.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a little ambiguous.
It'd be funny for the well, that's first of all, that sounds awesome. I just had the idea where if something was backwards, where something a movie yeah, or a short film looks normal, and then it rewinds, and it actually everyone was like dead at the end because the Misophonia killed everybody, and that was the reality. Anyways, but
It doesn't go that far.
yeah,
That's a
I don't know
great
how
idea,
many people
though.
would watch that, but so has this is amazing. So has this been shot, and I guess what's the
So,
status of it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a short film. It was only a
Mm.
10-page script, and we shot it like less than a month ago,
Mm.
actually. Just a couple of days, and I've just finished editing it. I directed it, and I did the edit, and we are actually this coming week handing it off to the post-production sound people, which is very
That's an important
exciting.
role. That's an important role
Yes,
for this movie.
because, the sound is like another character in
Hmm.
this film. It's very, very important. I generally like to use music when I make a film to sort of help shape the tone.
Yeah.
But there's no music in this one except in the credits. It's all just the sound of what's happening in this woman's world.
Yeah.
And I realized after the fact that people who experience misophonia might not like to watch this film
Hmm.
because they're going to have to hear all of these sounds. But there is a reward that we get to live vicariously through
Hmm.
her misdeeds.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, once you know what's going to happen, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different experience. I guess yeah. So so after that, like, do you have any plans for releasing it?
So
Festivals?
yeah, I have um a first tier of festivals that I plan to submit it to,
Mhm.
and we have a pretty quick turnaround on this, so by the end of this month we will have a finished product. So I will start submitting it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, keep me
uh
posted. I mean, keep us
yes,
posted. Yeah.
we will. And
Amazing.
so anyway, yeah, that's that. It's called Auditory Problems. I probably
Oh
should have
yeah.
mentioned
Okay.
that. I should have mentioned that. This the main character, Lisa, um goes to visit a therapist because she also does not know what's going on with her. She doesn't know the name Misophonia. She just
Hmm.
explains to this therapist all the things that are happening, and that's what leads us through the story in her day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And
So you
anyway,
called it auditory problems. Was that? Did you give it the name before you knew what misophonia was?
um I don't know. I think that when I had the idea to write the film, I did a little Googling first,
Yeah.
and I think I discovered the the name Misophonia before I put it down on paper. I'm pretty sure. I can't
Yeah.
actually remember now.
Yeah.
But she says to the therapist, I'm here because I'm having auditory problems.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
Gotcha. And it was that similar to your experience? Did you go to a therapist and
I
say,
I didn't go to a
okay,
therapist. I
yeah,
I mean, it does mirror my experiences pretty closely, but it's obviously all exaggerated for the entertainment.
yeah,
Um but no, I again remember that I just discovered it was a thing,
yeah,
in the last year. And but I have um, I have become aware of the things that really help me and make it easier for me to tolerate the worst of the sounds for me.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
What are some of
I,
your yeah? What is your other than telling
I,
Eric to shut the hell up? What are
I
your
know.
You see how quiet I
I know. It's like good boy, Eric.
am. I know my place.
I'll be quiet soon. We need to hear from you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll
um
get you in somewhere. Token Eric statement.
Very quietly.
so the thing, probably the single thing that's the most useful to me, well, there's probably two, is I I do hot yoga. And something about a regular hot yoga practice for me just sort of brings everything down a few notches, and I'm able to be just a little more chill about those things. But another thing is that I just need a break from stimulation.
Hmm.
I've always been that way. And I just, sometimes need to say, everybody needs to, can you guys go do something? Silence. I need silence. I need to stare at the wall for an hour
Yeah.
and decompress. But those are probably the two main things. And then if I am vigilant about making sure that I get proper sleep and I eat proper food, those things all really, really help me. Breathing, or just removing myself from a situation, honestly. Or something that helps me is if I can't remove myself from the situation, is creating a noise that masks the noise
Mm-hmm.
that's bothering me.
Mimicry. Yeah, it's common coping mechanism as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a
Um.
couple, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 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 You go, Eric.
I was going to just jump in just so that I can.
We know you were here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. Uh, as a couple, I think probably one of the strengths of our relationship is that we are very adamant about at least attempting to communicate as well as we possibly can as a couple. So, that was, I'm just going to speak on Lauren's behalf,
Sure.
awful, I think helpful just in terms of our relationship and misophonia specifically, so that, it does not eat us alive
Mm-hmm.
or, become a
Right.
thing where it's, more of an issue than it necessarily needs to
Resentment
be.
and grudges and all that.
Right.
Right. Because it's a peculiar thing, especially if you're not experiencing it. Because,
Hmm.
like, for instance, we're watching a movie as we're settling in for the night, and oh, do you want some snacks? Yeah, sure. And then, we get the snacks, which were offered. And then, we proceed to eat those snacks because that's what's on the table, so to speak. And then
It's
either
a
it's a
trap.
package or it's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah.
You know,
Don't eat snacks.
yeah. I mean, it's clearly not, but it kind of psychologically feels
Right.
that way initially because, from the outsider's perspective, it's like, bro, what do you mean? So, so it does take some walking through and some understanding to get to that place where, like she had mentioned, there are mechanisms to soften this, and whatever I can also do to help mitigate um, any
Right.
stressor.
Right. And the other thing about that is, it's because, the nature of a marriage or a partnership like this is, it's much more intimate. There's not like these social requirements. Like you can't say to that person, can you please not chew so loudly, like you can with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay. We have, it's easier because it's okay to say, you know, that noise is a little challenging for me, or whatever it is, where you wouldn't necessarily like say that to the person you're sitting next to on a subway or something.
Right. Right. And Eric, did you always know that that Lauren had quote unquote auditory problems, or was it something that developed
Well,
during your? Yeah.
it kind of evolved, kind of as she said, just in terms of like identifying it specifically. But it's shown itself in other ways because, as she mentioned, me and HSP and
Mm.
that sort of thing. That's uh, a cousin of
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
misophonia, just in terms of your exterior stressors and things that affect you in a deeper, more highly sensitive way. So, it's kind of evolved, and
Mhm.
you know, it also, as she mentioned, it was kind of like a aha moment to a degree, like, oh, there's
Right.
is it identifying uh vernacular for this, so that
Hmm.
it's like, oh, that's the I mean it we were already, I think, doing fairly well managing it, but it was just interesting doing the research for through the film, and then starting to understand the larger communities that are dealing with this, as well.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has been, it's been apparent in our existence together, but like you said, it didn't have, we didn't have a name for it. Like as you were talking about that, I remember, um it's probably been about 10 years ago. Remember, you won't remember this, but I remember a specific incident. I was working with another woman in, this small office, just the two of us. And I remember coming home and complaining to you one day after work because I was losing my mind because she had this snack. She had this bag of like dried mangoes. And I remember, and it was just like rattle, 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 rattle. And in my brain, I was like, do you need me to come over there and take one of those out for you? Just take it out. What are you doing? It was like painful. And I remember going home and talking to you, Eric, about it, like just how frustrating it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later that I realized he probably didn't identify with that. I thought that that was annoying to everybody.
Yeah.
And it
And he's
took
like,
me,
huh?
a while to realize,
Yeah.
no, that's just you, Lauren. He doesn't experience it that
Yeah.
way.
And yeah. So yeah, this HSP, Lauren, you said you had that since as long as you remember.
Yes.
I and then you don't remember anything unusual. Well, maybe there was something unusual about from in the early years of Lauren, but um, I guess what I don't know, what experience did your parents have, maybe growing up or in their lives?
Well, again, I'm 59, and so, my parents are in their 80s now,
Mm-hmm.
and culturally it was a little bit different upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Um I can tell you that my father, when I was a child, we had very different temperaments. I was, as I said, very sensitive. He didn't know what to do with a sensitive child.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very, from my perspective, he put a lot of pressure on me to, excel and do things perfectly. And he also, he wasn't physical and he didn't yell at me a lot, but he would get upset, and I think I was very frustrating to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by most accounts his um demeanor with me would be considered very normal, but to me, because of my sensitivity, it was like, whenever my dad would raise his voice at me, it was like, a sock to the gut.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I
So you
mean,
probably
it's
had to
not
be
necessarily his fault, but,
yeah.
but that's how I experienced it.
And then, as a child, you're wanting to, well, probably developing a little bit of vigilance there. It's like, how do I,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
and not just to kind of not just for your own sake, but I've thought about your child self who loves your dad is probably
Right.
wanting to protect the dad's feeling. You don't want him to you know
Yeah.
fly off. So, anyways,
Yes, I think that's probably true because, my sister is very, my sister is hyper vigilant too. And it was
mm,
just the two of us. And she's, fairly sensitive as well. And I'm sure it was just the dynamic between our different personalities that probably created some of that.
yeah. And so you said you developed, and then you had this aunt who was like pretty close in
Hmm.
age, who
Yep.
actually, have you talked to your aunt? I mean, is she still with us? Have you talked to her about misophonia at all?
She is still with us, I won't go into the details.
Okay.
She's one of seven children, and something happened that I was not involved in, but
Mm,
she is now estranged from the family.
okay.
So I
Gotcha.
don't have contact with her anymore.
Gotcha. And then, I guess, your misophonia around when, and do you remember the circumstances around how it just kind of developed?
Um no, I don't. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um I mean,
I mean, I guess what
the
stage of life? I guess were
it
you
was
in? Just the day you
probably
met Eric, or
the day I met Eric, and that was, yeah. He walked in
Sounds about right.
crinkling a chip bag, and uh
he's like, Lauren, I can't get this mango out of this bag. Can you?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I think that to some degree I probably have always, I don't know, because I don't know where, you know, HSP
Yeah,
ends and misophonia begins, because if I go back to like my 20s, there are sounds that annoyed me. Um but was it just because I'm sensitive and I wanted it to be quiet? And incidentally, I'm not just super, you know, I don't have a strong need for silence. I
yeah,
mean, I need I need silence breaks. I can get overstimulated, but like that's not a trigger for me, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the things that are the biggest triggers for me are, as we just discussed, the rattling bags. Any kind of rattling, like a crinkling grocery bag, not a paper bag, but like a plastic bag or a chip bag or a food bag or and it's kind of a cousin to this, or somebody in countless times I've been in a room, let's say a waiting room for an audition, and there's someone, sitting across from me with a handbag, and they're just rummaging and
yeah.
rummaging through there, rummaging, and I'm in my brain, I'm like, and this is actually a scene. It's not an audition room, it's in an office, but this is a scene that I put into the film, and it's my favorite scene in the whole piece.
Yeah.
It's so gratifying for me, and also it's just funny. um but it's just like, and I'll be sitting there going, what, like, why is it necessary to be rummaging around in your bag for 5 minutes? Like, I could probably come over there and see everything in your bag if I just took one
Right.
peek in there. What are you doing? you know but I have memories of incidences like that again go back at least a couple decades, maybe farther. But yeah, I'm not really able to pinpoint when I had my first awareness of it.
Hey, that answer makes total sense to me. I mean, you're right. I mean, at HSP, misophonia, I don't feel like a lot of these things are like there's a boundary between them.
Right.
I think it's part of the human experience, and we just happen to have added these labels. But I
Right.
think in a few years these labels might be not even relevant. So that's a
Right.
great answer that I think a lot of people will relate with.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting.
So, have you met any other folks along? I guess you're you just found out how to name in the last year. I'm curious.
Hmm.
You know, in the course of doing the film and stuff, have you met other folks, or have you thought back and been like, oh, that person also had misophonia. Maybe I should, I don't know, see what
Yes,
they're up to.
yes to both of those questions. Yes. I have definitely encountered people, especially in talking about the film, that have, seen themselves. Yes, yes, I'm so glad you're doing this. Me too, me too. And
Mm,
then if I think back, I can definitely come up with a few people in my life and remember their reactions to things and go, "Oh yeah, for sure that person. That person was going through this."
yeah, 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 yeah. And your sorry, I jump around a lot, but I just remembered your well, I guess okay. Do your parents know about misophonia? And have you kind of talked to them about, I don't know, this
Mm,
and our HSP even?
both of my parents, who incidentally are, they are long divorced and remarried, so I
Hmm.
have a couple sets of parents, and all of them are aware of my high sensitivity. We've had,
It's hard not to be aware. It sounds like.
it's hard not to be. And I will tell you that my father, in his defense, we have had conversations about it, as
Mm.
obviously I'm an adult, many many years later, but about our experiences together when I was a child, uh, with HSP. And he's he has he's enlightened since then. He understands it more, and he's even apologized to me for not really
Mm.
getting it or knowing what to do. And so there's been growth for both of us. But my I think that my mom is probably also, um to some degree, at least, an HSP.
Hmm.
And regarding the term misophonia, neither one of my parents or my step parents had ever heard it either until we began working on the film.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, oh, okay. They didn't really know that there was a name for it.
Yeah.
So we've never had conversations about misophonia until auditory problems.
Yeah. And then as you're working on it, in LA, in the business, have you come
Hmm.
across other folks in the business who are I don't know, misophonia aware and
Yeah.
have misophonia? Yeah. I would imagine in the creative community. I mean, there's got to be a lot. I mean, we're
Well,
all kind of
yeah,
a little bit,
because so many
emotionally
artists
aware.
are, highly sensitive. And
Yeah.
as we mentioned earlier, sometimes it's like, where does one begin and the other end?
Yeah, we've had multiple people in our immediate circles who are also in the industry as well, um, speak up and
Yeah.
identify themselves as such. So
Hmm.
yes, it did uncover some stones here and there along the way.
Well, when this yeah, I mean, when this premieres, if it's premiering in LA at some point, I'll definitely go back to my interview Rolodex, because there's a number of people in LA, I'm sure, who are misphones who would love to come out and support.
Yeah,
So
that would be great. That would be great.
um, I'll
Wh-
fly down for that. That'd be a great
where are
meetup.
you
Oh, I'm
located?
way over in Minnesota. It's a very
Oh,
different
you
climate
are.
and everything. Yeah, but
Okay.
One of our
we have a film
actors in one
festival somewhere,
You
sometime. Yeah,
do?
yeah.
one of our actors who are in the film is from Minnesota as well,
Who?
Mm,
Cedric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's interesting. I mean, this really doesn't have anything to do with misophonia, except for
that's fine.
the lead actress that we had play the role inspired by me. Her name is Rochelle Meese, and she's an actress that we've worked with before, many years ago. And she's very funny. She's got great timing. But she's not a misophone. But she did great with the part. But she we had to have her because we knew she would just, really bring the comedy to it. And I reached out to her to see if she would be interested in doing the part, and she said, "I would love to. I just moved to DC for law school."
Mm.
And so by some miracle, we were able to get her to come out here for a 3-day weekend in the middle of law school to shoot our film.
Wow.
Um, so that was kind of funny. And also in the middle of that was during our government shutdown and flights were getting canceled. And,
Yeah.
there was a moment here where I was like, I got to be prepared if she doesn't, I'm not going to know until the day that because she was flying in on the day that we were going to start shooting. I said, I have to be prepared to like fill this role if she doesn't make it, which I really, really did not want to do. And I'm so glad. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that she made it.
Amazing. So
But
she just rolled in and 3 days shot this short film
yeah,
and it's gone back to law.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She arrived on a like Friday morning at 12, barely after midnight, and shot that afternoon, and then shot all the Saturday, and then left on Sunday.
Well, it's good if she's coming out late, a little sleep deprived, get
Yeah,
the nervous system
exactly.
shot a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
nicely
Yeah.
done. So yeah, I mean, speaking of outside of Misophonia, like, yeah, what kind of other work do you guys do, or just kind of like what's your life like?
Go ahead, you answer.
LA is Los Angeles is always interesting.
Mhm.
That's why many of us like being here. And everybody can complain about everything, the freeways and other things. But so yeah, we keep busy, and in the industry itself, um, we audition regularly. I have a role that I'm in for this TV show Sugar
Mhm.
with Colin Farrell on Apple TV. It's coming out here soon, I think.
Hmm.
And we also work on our own projects and our
Commercials, and
commercials.
our youngest daughter is also a commercial actress. She's about
Mm.
to turn 11. So we always have something going on around here.
Yeah.
And I've turned to writing myself. I have a project I'm working on. It's taking a little while to get through. It's a personal project, but yeah, so we keep it busy on various fronts.
Very nice. Yeah. No, that sounds great. I mean, yeah, a lot of different types of forms of expression, and
Mm-hmm.
that seems like a great artist HSP lifestyle. I mean,
Yeah.
does that help? Does the act of creating and all these different types of um, artistic expressions kind of help you in, I don't know, day-to-day
Um,
dealing with misophonia or just HSPness? Actually,
I
that was a
think.
bad thing to say.
Oh,
HSP-ishness.
whoops.
A little
I
Freudian
think
there.
that it does.
Yeah.
I think that it does. I don't know if it's a direct response, but just the mere fact that, the creation is fulfilling for me, and
Right.
thus lowers, anxiety levels, and other things that can be contributors to, how short my fuse is and that sort of thing.
Yeah. There's a school
I
of
can only imagine that it's useful.
yeah. There's a school of thought, well, and not just beyond misophonia, that just connecting with your authentic self is
Hmm.
that whole integration is a way to signal to your body that things are safe and you're not under threat.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
And perhaps this misophonic or other kind of reaction is a signal to get back to that to who you really are,
But
which
I
kind of
don't
gets
think
lost
you're,
in late modernity, and now I'm getting into
yes,
philosophical stuff. But
but I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I do think that so much of it, which is why, it, you know, having all of the other things in order that sort of open you up to just to be who you are, like, because I'm very sensitive, if I don't eat properly, I have a
Mm-hmm.
reaction. I have a physiological reaction. If I don't sleep properly, I have a physiological reaction where someone else might be like, oh, yeah, big deal. I only slept however many hours. My day is vastly different. And
Right.
so I do think that, you know, maybe in a different world, in a different city, in a different culture, I don't know what, maybe I wouldn't experience these sounds this way.
Or century.
Maybe I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be
Mm-hmm.
so, on such a relaxed Zen, you know, space that it wouldn't even matter to me. I have no idea.
Is your daughter aware of your misophonia?
My husband is smiling. Why don't you answer that?
Yes, she is. She is well aware, but she too has, learned to manage, and be also sensitive and empathetic in that regard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yes,
she's very
it's
she's
okay.
very sweet. I just today I can't remember what it was. I think I was working on editing, and she was doing something sort of nearby, and she was tapping her pencil or something, or she was, I don't know what, doing some kind of tapping, like doing some drumming with her hands or something. And she's like, she realized I was there. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mom."
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all. I mean, you don't have to like dwell on it or anything. It's
No.
just, yeah, yeah.
It's an interesting. I'm going to say something. It's probably going to, as I tend to do from time to time, jump around to
Mm-hmm.
various topics within a short amount of sentences, kind of, sort
Mm-hmm.
of. All these things, as you were mentioning, are systemic. So they all, one thing affects the other, and I'm going to try to tie this into these two thoughts
Or
into
not.
each
Don't
other,
worry about it. Well yeah,
or not,
it's
and they may not get there.
it's all
But
good.
we've been in the industry for 20 plus years at this, and I've always said that it's. I think it's important for everyone to take acting classes, just because within this, you have the opportunity to explore other thought processes and things and research things which you may not do under other circumstances, and not to become an actor, but to relate better to yourself, relate better to other people, relate better to the world. So I think it makes you more aware. And this is how I'm going to attempt to
Yeah.
tie this back in, is that, along the journey, we have communicated it as partners. Um, but the film also taps into that concept, and that's kind of why I'm saying it, because you dive a little deeper and you have a little bit more, a touch more empathy than you even had before, because you understand it at a little deeper level, and you get to explore it in a more granular way so that you can um, have an awareness. And I think, we live in a world right now that's very
It's pretty chill.
extreme. Yeah, yeah, pretty chill. Not a whole lot going on. But so there's a lot of extremes in behaviors and mentalities and um, that sort of thing. So I think, having a little bit of taking the time to have a little empathy and dig a little deeper into, or allow for space for other people's beings, energies, what they're dealing with, just kind of, elevates the energy of any room that you're in. So I don't know
I'm
how I
going to
did in
agree
tying
with
that all
that
together,
and
but
disagree with that.
Oh,
I I
A little
mean,
extreme here.
You could just start a
I
fight.
I I agree with the concept of the self exploration through acting classes, but I think there are lots of other ways that people can achieve that besides just acting class. But as a way for sure.
All right. Well, we don't have to fight
I'm
too
going to
much.
agree with
Okay.
both. I'm going to agree with both because
I think,
I mean, obviously
yeah.
reading and art. But
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, Eric, it was a couple of years ago, a year ago, I took a night. Yeah, I mean, I'm a software engineer, the opposite of acting. But
Oh,
I took a acting class, like a night school class for it was like 4
hey.
classes. Because I've also had ideas for writing a play or a musical about misophonia. So kind of want to see the other side of it. And in those 4 classes, I learned more about, the human condition than like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
other anything else. I was like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of psychologists and researchers. A lot of them are probably listening to this podcast
Hmm.
right now. And what I learned from that teacher in those 4 classes was way more than any research paper I have read. And
Sure.
so, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I want to, whether it's for empathy or whatever, but just to get back into that intellectual, philosophical, you know, thing that we lose when we leave, I don't know, high school.
Sure.
I think it's very important. So,
Well, and also for you as somebody who's interested in possibly creating something like
mhm.
that, it, it's very valuable. I think about conversations we've had where we can tell we can tell when a director has acting experience or doesn't.
Ah, yep.
And I
What
feel
are some hints?
that,
I'm just out of curiosity. What
well, you can just
it?
tell
Yeah.
by how well you can usually tell in the finished product also, but when you're like on set or witnessing them, you can tell by how they speak to an actor, or you can tell that they
Yeah.
understand the story in a different way. Or, then there are directors who are just, they're concerned about how beautiful the shot is and how
Mm,
technical it is. And look, we got this and we got that. And sometimes they forget that the story is also, you need to be able to communicate with these people over here who are telling your story. And
yeah.
if you've been an actor or in an acting class, you are able to generally have a more effective communication with those people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting too because, they're there to do a job, but, there are other elements involved that are not linear. So, an actor is
Right.
a tool, but it's a human being and it's a feeling, moving, changing human being. So, and depending on who you're dealing with, you have to, I think, just have to have an understanding as a director that, there's all types of people. So, one actor
Right.
may be able to take a more simplistic, rough direction, and then another one might need a little bit more creative way approach to get the best results. So I think it just has I think the person just has to be aware of
Yeah.
who they're dealing with because they're
Yeah.
it's a human being as the tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, any kind of sort of cross pollination of arts, I think, feed each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So are
And
you going to write your film?
yeah, I've had I am I just need to yeah I'm the kind of person where I need to get some of my day job stuff squared away so it doesn't stress me out, and then I can
Sure.
focus on it because I will just get, I mean, an HSP can't be stressed out about other stuff and then, and then be in that contemplative state for a long enough time to like get creative. At least
Sure.
me, or at least this is a story I'm telling myself, and maybe it's just you know how it is with wannabe artists.
Yeah.
Is an never ending procrastination, probably trying to mask something that needs to come out. You know, that whole spiel. So yeah, I mean, I'm literally looking at post-it notes that have been on my wall for years, a couple of years.
Oh no.
I'm one of those people.
I know.
So,
I feel that.
but yeah, no, I will keep you guys posted. And maybe it's just something we need to. I don't know. Maybe we have like a loose quarterly check-in or something to kind of
Yeah.
keep each
Sure.
other, or at least keep me, for selfish reasons, kind of accountable to my little circle of misophones.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
So,
Absolutely.
but good question, Eric. Yeah, and yeah, if yeah, feel free to ask me that again. That made me
We'll
think.
circle
That made
back
me
to
stop
you.
and think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's just a matter of, you know, starting, you know,
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yes.
a lot of things get in the way sometimes. And, you know, yeah, things, life can,
I have a few.
life.
I have a small like an essay series that is a little bit more. The topics are a little bit more, and I feel like some essays just to kind of get in and get out some ideas, these philosophical ideas, which I was kind of alluding to earlier, getting them out in a written form. I think will get the juices flowing, and then I'll come
Hmm.
back to my the more fictional things. I mean, I already have I even have like music ideas for like the kind of more musical-ish side of it as well. So, but yeah, there's bits and pieces that need to be put together.
It's brewing.
Yes, yes.
It's fun to
But honestly,
create more.
when I think about it, it completely reduces my HSP temperature. And so
Yes.
I know it has
Hmm.
to happen. It's
Yeah,
just, anyways.
it does. It does. But I will also, you should just do it. You should just do it. Keep working on it. But I will also say that I completely understand
So can I say something
having
else about?
things in order around you. It
Yeah,
just makes it
yeah.
easier.
So there's that, and not to turn it about me, but I don't, because when you said like your dad put a lot of pressure on you, did you find that that self critic come up a lot when you were growing up, and
Oh
or
yes,
no?
100%. He
Okay.
turned me, not
Because
he,
that's like
that
for
is
me growing up also in a religious household, all that kind of
right.
stuff. I turn into like oh, everything I'm doing is not right, like or it's like
Well,
it's a waste of time, I should say.
I became a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe a
And
little
I
people
think,
pleaser, a little bit too.
and a little bit of a people pleaser and a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And we all know that, that there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really just, that that's not healthy. But I think that also that was my father's upbringing as well. And so that's what happened. And I'm sure that with my older children, I've probably, passed a little bit of that on, but I think I have evolved somewhat. It lingers, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he, yeah, he was very strict and not strict. He just pushed me a lot. He
Yeah.
expected a lot of me. And also, it was very hard for me when I was younger, but I can tell you that as an adult, I'm grateful for it uh, in large part because um what the positive part of that experience was that he instilled in me a belief in myself
Mm-hmm.
that that I can do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a I didn't come into adulthood feeling like, oh, I'm not capable of that. Oh, I'm not going to be able to, of course I have feelings of self-doubt, but he really instilled in me a
Just go for it.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was part of, what came along with him pushing me was that he, thought I was, he made me believe I was very and not that I wasn't, but that I was highly intelligent and that I was very capable. And he was an athlete. Both of my parents
Mm.
um were teachers and sports coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was pushed academically, but I was also pushed in physically in
Mm-hmm.
sports. And it was because I of my own abilities, but because he made me feel like I could.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So while I never really felt like I was ever, doing anything good enough, I still felt like I was capable of doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. And outside of sound sensitivity, auditory sensitivities, did you develop other sensory issues as well, like the whole, visual triggers, for example?
No,
Yeah.
but I do have I don't know what you would call it, like physical
Mm.
sensitivities, like thing like like sense on my skin, like things on my
Yeah.
skin, or you know
Fabrics or just
yeah,
yeah.
that sort of
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not uncommon with HSPs,
Yeah.
obviously, and misphones. Um,
Mhm. And have a very strong sense of smell.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
And we're getting close to an hour, but yeah, I'd love to just hear about your coping methods day to day. Is it uh, the usual headphones, earbuds,
yeah, like just
leaving, punching?
actually just today, again, just today, um, a couple of hours ago, we were in a different room and my husband was, I think, working on his script or something. He was sitting not far from me typing, and I was sitting on my computer working on trying to figure something out. And I couldn't concentrate because of the
Mm-hmm.
typing. And I'm sure to everyone else it was normal. It sounded so loud to me that I put headphones on. I didn't even have anything playing in them. I just had to cover my ears
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
just to dampen the sound a little bit. So yeah, whatever I do, whatever whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
takes,
Right, right,
whatever it takes in the moment. It's not always the same. Yeah, and
right.
sometimes I just have to, totally change what's happening. Another I went outside today. Something was sound was bothering me. I just got up and just went and sat outside, away
Mm-hmm.
from, any noises, and just, changing the energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and just having the knowledge that you can do that
Yeah,
can just that agency can kind of like calm things down a bit internally. So
for sure. I imagine it's probably much harder for people who, I don't go to an office and work every day, or,
right,
but I'm sure that there are people who are in circumstances that they don't have as environments that they don't have as much control over. And I just can't even
yeah,
imagine.
yep, yep. Um, Very interesting. Yeah, yeah. Like it's yeah, we're getting close to an hour. I'd love to hear. I don't know. Yeah, any other things you'd like to share? I would like to get at some point links to if there are links to auditory sensitivities or yeah, and obviously we'll stay in touch as that kind of makes its way around. But anything else you'd like to share? I guess about your experiences individually or as a couple.
Eric?
Eric, we'll give you the one of
Uh,
the last words here and give
Yeah.
you your chance to.
well, let me start off by getting some paper and
And crinkling it.
um, no, we're very excited about this project, and as we've discussed, in terms of the misophonia community, um, and identifying in we're hoping that the film will come across across as a something that can lighten the load a little
Yeah.
bit and just, help other people gain a little bit more affinity for it as well, so that um, couples and individuals alike can move through the universe in a better way. So yeah, we're just excited about it. And as I mentioned before, I personally like the exploration of the human condition in various ways. So being in the acting field helps that. It's an
And being married
opportunity.
to me helps that. I provide a lot of opportunity.
An
Lots of
interesting lens into that
opportunities
human condition. Yes.
lots of opportunities. So so yeah, we're just very much so looking forward to um sharing this with everybody, and um hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point that, the film Auditory Problems is it is uh, for me, one of the primary goals was just to be able to laugh at myself a little bit and hope that other people in the process will, I'm kind of making fun of myself in this film. Um but in a kind-hearted, loving way.
Mhm.
Because life is messy and life is funny and it's all a little crazy, and I think we just get through it a little bit better if we're able to laugh at it sometimes. So that was also part of the goal.
We're hoping to inspire some other people who have projects on post-its right now that they're
Mhm.
ready to take
Oh
to the
wait, what? Oh,
next
that's
level.
me. Yeah, yeah. No,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. I love that, and I think I will take you up. I'll expect a random email from me at some point in the next 1 to 18 weeks,
One
with an
to
update.
18.
So
Definitely would be happy to hear from you that day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
um so we don't have a website um for the project, but we do have a recently formed Instagram
Hmm.
page, which is it's at Auditory Problems. And
Thank you, Morgan Hickman.
yes, and I have a tendency to post a little bit more on my own page, which is at Lorin, Lorin Davis.
Hmm.
um and we will be definitely keeping everyone up to date. We have, things are about to start moving, so we'll have some news to put up there shortly.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna follow those if I'm not already, and yeah, auditory problems, and yeah, look for it. And yeah, I'll be sharing stuff about it. But yeah, this has been yeah, fascinating conversation, and yeah, I wish you guys best of luck, and let's definitely
Thank you.
keep in touch.
You're right. It did go by very fast. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again, both of you. Really excited for the film. I've actually kind of seen it in advance, and it's great. Thanks for coming on, and yeah, I hope everyone gets to see it. If you like this episode, don't forget to leave a quick review or just hit the 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast. You can hit me up by email at hello@misophoniapodcast.com or go to the website, misophoniapodcast.com. It's usually even easier just to send a message on Instagram at misophoniapodcast. Theme music, as always, is by Moby, and until next week, wishing you peace and quiet.